1, 2, buckle my shoe. Where's that coming from? Blue test. Spooling up for the classic radio roundup. That's right.
That sound right there, yeah. Come on now, that's Kilowatt. And the Keystone.
Roger, right on, Kilowatt. Good evening. 5 on 7.
How about out there, DX Land? We're trying to... Going back with that 507? Get her back if you hear that.
Yes.
How you doing there, 507 Kilowatt?
I hear you, man. Devastating my guest meter.
Yeah, Roger on that. I hope I hit it pretty hard, Dad. Pennsylvania back to
Over the fence. I think you might have even hit a couple of Democrats.
Oh, my. What a lucky day I'm having.
Yeah, they're pretty ugly when you hit them with a baseball and they explode, man. Then you got to clean them up.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave it dirty. You'll need to clean it up. Where you at there, 507?
I'm inside the PA line here near the Macy-Dixie line. 8 miles north of Amaranth, Delaware.
Yeah, Roger on that. So you're just sitting back, waiting for everybody else to jump in?
Yeah. I know they're tuning up and turning on and all that. It ain't easy. All these knobs to turn and coaxes to switch over, so I got here first.
There you go, man. Oh, there you go. I feel you. I got a couple switches to turn on.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I had television on this thing right now. I would just point the camera at it and you'd be like, what?
Alright, bro, I'm gonna say back to everybody else jumps in there. I'll talk to you later.
Alright. Talk to you in a few minutes.
Hey, Roger on that 507. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Classic Radio Roundup.
Yeah, classic radio roundup. 44507. Try and make me tune this in a little bit. There we go. It's getting better. There we go. Closer to frequency.
I am where I am, and I can't change it. So if you hear me and I hear you, it's good enough for me. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, right there. Fire chicken power.
Yeah, it's working, driver. No pain, no strain. Let me do some calibrations here. Make sure everything's hunky-dory. Yeah, it seems that way.
I think 507's in there too.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah, Roger, it's Kilowatt. 5071's here.
Oh, hello, Kilowatt. I hear you.
Yeah, Roger. How's everybody doing? It's all good, man.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Because it's Classic Radio Wednesday.
Simple question, but how old's it got to be classic radio? What's the copy on that classic radio roundup?
Well, I'll let Sandbagger field that question on the age of the radio to qualify. But the location of the Classic Radio Roundup is the greater Pottstown area, and pretty much 40 miles in any direction from there.
Yeah, Roger on that. Okay, down around Pottstown. Good copy up here and up around the Poconos.
Oh, 10-4 up on the Poconos, so you're outside the 40-mile radius. But you're coming in quite well, no trouble at all. Spitfire, 441.
Spitfire, how you doing? Yup, that's 327 up here.
Have a good evening there, 327, and welcome to the Roundup.
That's right. Thank you much. All right, get back to it. We'll be in there.
Well, thanks for checking in. You made the video gate. It's rolling. You can check it out on YouTube tomorrow. If you don't know where to get it, I can tell you. All right, well, you're on it, and thanks for checking us out there on the YouTube and supporting Classic Radio Roundup.
Okie doke. Thank you much. We'll catch you later. And the answer to the earlier question, anything that's 1983 or older, we tend to consider classic. Anything newer than that, not so much.
And that still covers 25 years worth of CB radios.
Oh, yeah. The classics.
Is my modulation too loud?
Train might think so, but I'd say it's okay.
Yeah, it just looked to be a little loud. Does that soften it up a little bit?
I think you went a little too far.
All right, we'll split the difference. Now, wait a minute. Maybe I got a dirty pot here. Hello. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's splitting the difference.
You got a dirty pot or something there.
Yeah, I can see that. Looks like a dirty pot. Oh, no. Guess I'll have to leave it, work it back and forth maybe a little bit. See if that fixed it.
Is that a D104?
Yeah, but it's the mic ain't on the radio I'm messing with.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's got a problem. But it starts to crackle and break up a bit. Definitely needs a shot of that deoxit.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen today. So I moved it a little bit more. I guess I'll just have to stay back from the mic.
What are you running, the Super Lynx?
How'd you know that?
Damn good guess.
Seriously, how did you know that?
I'm just good.
Has the Pearce Simpson got a signature or something? Seriously, I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I expect that out of Snowman, but how did you pull that off?
Logical deduction.
Well, I don't have a lot of radios, but I got a couple with byte gain on the face. Or do I? Maybe I don't. 1, 2, 2 in my view. Oh, maybe I don't have a lot. So I guess you had a 50-50 shot.
Well, you did say that you couldn't adjust your frequency, so I'll leave out sideband radios. And then you have a mic gain on the radio, and I'm thinking, well, it's not a tube radio, so I just took a stab at the Super Lynx.
Could have been the Regency.
Which Regency?
Oh, well, that one I can adjust my frequency. Aha, I said.
123 is a sideband radio, so you have a clarifier.
Yeah, so I can adjust my frequency a whole total of like 200, 300 kilohertz.
Bonus points if you can guess what radio I'm on.
I'll never be able to guess that. You've got way too many to choose from. I could name quite a few of yours, but not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, there are some that I let out a little bit more frequently than others. I do have my favorites.
Well, I in this past year sold off quite a few. I still got quite a few left to play with, but there are still my favorites amongst those. And amongst those, 2 of them are currently dead. Well, not dead, but not working.
Yeah, we got to take care of those at some point before I acquire a new employer.
Oh, is that an invitation for me to drop them off?
No, I'm not going to be here. Next couple of weeks are going to be kind of hectic because Memorial Day is coming up and there's a lot of mountain stuff coming up.
Yeah, well, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be gone after that for a couple of weeks.
Wow, we got all kinds of weekend wonders going on here.
10 days.
10 fun-filled days.
Now 10 days, then it's 16 days.
Oh, what? After the 10 day, you have another one?
Oh, it's 10 days till I get to start the 16 days of adventure. Anyway, the DX100 was another successful test tonight on the medium wave frequency band.
Yeah, a lot of things sounded good from what I saw that video gate.
Yeah, he did another little short gate tonight of Jim and I next to each other. And I swear we had the same signal strength down there at 507s. But Jim definitely sounded better. Not that I sounded bad, but he's got a radio voice.
Who's this now, JR?
Thing on the air here tonight.
Yeah, JR. Say again, 507?
I said a real ham would put that on the air right here.
I'm not comfortable tuning that thing around just yet.
Man.
It's the comment about real ham.
Well, like, I just need to get completely familiar with it. I mean, it's not mine to destroy.
Roger. Well, anyway, I'm just checking in. Hey there, Bagger. Good to hear you. 507, FM 29, center tap.
That's good to hear you.
Good to hear you, too. Even though I had to switch over to my crummy old ICOM receiver.
Oh, no.
That's not a classic.
Yeah, it is. 1981.
Classic ham rig.
Well, I'm making up for it with the transmitter.
Yeah, it's an oldie, but real goodie. And just me with my measly little Lafayette Telsat SSB 25 tonight.
That's a cool looking. I like laughing idiot stuff.
Pearce Simpson, Super Lynx.
Yeah, they sold them the set and they're laughing yet. But Lafayette. But for some reason, Lafayette and Radio Shack have a special place in my heart for classic radios because I guess they were the first ones I really experienced as a youngster.
Yeah, me too. TRC 30A. And all the Lafayettes I ever bought were broken because they were used, which makes them more fun, of course.
Yeah. Didn't design it that way, but I ended up with probably the most single brand in my collection are realistics. I don't have as many Lafayettes. I've got the 25A, or no, this isn't an A. This is just a 25. This is the older one. I have a 50A. I have the Comstat 25. And I've got something else somewhere. I'm trying to think where. No, I guess, yeah, I do, but I guess it's broke. Oh well.
Not like a real Comstat 25, the one with 22A in it?
22A and 22B.
Wow, check you out. You're styling, man. That's cool.
What brand 11-meter radios do you think they'll have the most of here?
The most that you have?
Yeah, the most of one brand. Which brand?
I could have had to say JCPenney.
Oh my God. How do you pull this stuff off? But yeah, for whatever reason, I have more JCPenney radios than anything else.
I know you have that Pinto sideband radio, and I know you got that mobile radio, and you got the other Cobra 29-like Pinto radio. So I know you have at least 3 or maybe even 4. And since you don't have a whole lot of radios to begin with, that's enough of any single brand.
Yeah, I got 3 of them that are 23s, and you basically named the 3. And then one of them that's a 40 channel that's kind of like silverish, where the other 3 are all black.
That's right.
Good evening, Classic Radio Roundup. JR on board on my Trinidad, my Frankendad.
Right.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Hello. Give this thing a little bit of an exercise tonight.
Exercise is good.
That makes you the exorcist.
Yeah, the exorcist.
The Excelsior.
If your radio starts throwing up green slime out of the speaker, we'll know there's something going on.
Oh, I'll get a video on that one. Oh, yeah.
Imagine somebody 20 years old listening to this. They'd be like, what?
Well, they just don't get it.
You just didn't live through the 70s.
Oh, if you weren't there, you don't know.
If you were there, you might not remember.
Yeah. We're kind of in that middle of the road. We were there and remember. A few more years, we won't remember.
Oh, when you get old, you remember all the old stuff. You can't remember what happened 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm going through that now. I can remember what I was doing 40 years ago, but not 2 weeks ago.
Well, you're the master of that. You can remember every model radio made between, during the 1970s, whatever, but he can't tell you what was made last week.
No. Because all that crap they make now is all in China, and I don't like Chinese junk.
No, there's no Chinese. Well, there is a Chinese junk radio here, but it's just a receiver, so I'm not quite sure if that counts or not. But no Chinese junk transceivers.
I'm using a Chinese mic. I have to report that because I need to be honest.
Does anybody out there have a silver eagle they can pull the bottom off of and tell me where a wire goes?
I'm talking on one.
Can you pull the bottom off and tell me where that, I guess it's like a ground wire, I guess, with a clear plastic sleeve on it. It comes out, between the amplifier board and the mic cord. Where does that go?
The ground, I guess.
Yeah, which ground?
Hold on. I know I did a modification of mine. I think I stuck it under one of the screws so it would be grounded to the case, because these 6-wire mics, the shield is isolated from the case itself. All right, let's see here. Oh God, I can't see where it goes. I grounded it right to the bracket where the screws are that hold the mic cable.
We're talking about like just a wire with a clear plastic sleeve on it, not really like regular, extruded insulation, but a slipped on clear plastic insulator.
Correct. It's clear plastic insulator over the shield wire. And I grounded the shield wire to the case so that helps, prevent RF feedback.
Would it have gone to one of the legs of the volume pot?
I can't tell from this angle because I'd have to take the whole amplifier board out.
Yeah. Well, somebody modified mine and took the pot off the board, drilled a hole in the base, and put a full-size pot sticking through so you can adjust it on the outside. And I'm wondering if that's where the ground is supposed to go, but maybe it'll work where you're telling me. I guess maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm wondering if, as I was in there, I pulled the amplifier board off to see what transistors were in there, and maybe figure out what's going on. But then I found that wire like astray, so I wonder if that's not my problem.
Yeah, it may not be.
May not be, or it may be.
May be. I mean, well, that wire's astray. I mean, that's your ground wire. Well, I should say that's your shield wire. Like I say, the 6-wire mics isolate the actual, the metal ground of the microphone from the actual shield, because there are some radios, like certain Johnsons, that ground is not the same as the shield, and if you touch them, you can blow the fuse or something. Some crazy stuff like that.
All right. Well, I'll try grounding that thing out and see if that makes that mic work or not. All right. Well, that pretty much points me in a direction I need to try. Maybe it's not really dead after all.
Yeah, I wonder why it went off in the first place.
Well, there was a modification. I went moving stuff around, and maybe it was already tugged loose, and just who knows? Moving that. They never put a 3/4 nut on that shaft of that pot, so as you move the pot, the body can move too. So it could have worked itself loose that way.
Oh, so you think the whole pot turned around and it yanked the wire off?
I'm kind of thinking maybe possibly so.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the schematic of the. I think the pot does go to ground. One side of it does.
I always thought the pot went to crap.
Well, they put a black wire on the center, a white wire on one side, and a red on the other side of the pot.
Oh, so the shield doesn't go there.
Why? Well, it reaches there perfectly to the one leg. I'll try ground first and see what happens.
Good choice.
The mic apart, aren't you?
Say again, Dave?
You're going to make me take this whole mic apart, aren't you?
No, not at all. What I'll do is I'll check it, see if it works on ground, and I'll try and see if it works on one of the legs of the pot. No big deal. I wasn't even thinking that mine is actually modified, so nobody else is going to be like mine anyway. But I wanted to see where their shield wire went.
Brown's a good choice.
I'm going to see if there's a schematic on the bottom of this thing here.
Yeah, there's not on mine. I have one of my D104s that does, but it's not a 6-wire one. This is one of my plain TUG8 gray bases that had a phono jack plug on it with a bad head. So I put a 4-pin plug on it, and I'm using my Silver Eagle head. So I could have me a 4-pin D104 operational until I figure it out.
Yeah, this one had a schematic on the inside, but it got tore off somehow. There's only one small little fragment left there, which doesn't show me anything.
Congratulations on getting Bagger talking to the bottom of his microphone stand.
Oh, right? It sounds like crap, too, doesn't it?
Actually, it does.
It just sounds like you're talking far away. That's all. Through the bottom of a can.
Stand on your head and talk, you'll be okay.
It won't sound like garbage.
Stand on your head while you're doing it, and then you'll be on the right side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to bring up a motion under new business.
Uh-oh. All right, who are we giving demerits to?
Oh, nobody. The wife brought it up. I was like, man, I'm tired tonight. She goes, you know what you should do? I said, well, what should I do? She goes, y'all need to move your classic radio roundup an hour earlier for all you old guys that are over 60. She cracks me up.
Jeez, that's insulting.
At least she's thinking of our welfare. Get us to bed an hour earlier.
Old guys.
Hiya, Wayne.
Hi, Pete, Dave, JR, anybody else that can hear me? Good evening, Mr. Wayne.
Hello, Wayne.
Old guys. It's about the old guys.
Damn old farts.
Yeah, she says you need to have a senior net on your classic radio roundup, senior hours. Like, you go to the diner, you could get the senior portion, or we could have the senior portion and the junior portion of classic radio roundup.
So that means, we start at 7 and get done at 9, and like guys like Joker can hang in there, or Joker and Green Dog can hang in there till 10.
Yeah, Billy the Kid and all that, 123. Oh, no, he's our age. But yeah, Joker, Green Dog, Billy the Kid, they can all come in at 8 and stay till 10. We'll come in at 7 and go till 9.
Did you just call it juniors? I have to find a place to park my walker.
That's right, Junior.
Green Dog don't like the name Junior.
I think it's funny.
Junior?
But the funny part about it is, I every day, man, I just keep feeling older and older.
It sneaks up on you. Sooner or later, you are it.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any better.
That's Quill sneaking up on you there, Bagger.
Yeah, it's just me sticking my head too close to the microphone, and it feeds back through the headphones.
Your satellite dish.
Here he goes again.
And then it got quiet.
Sometimes we have those feast or famine, roller coaster rides on Classic Radio Roundup.
I thought the seniors were just having a brain fart.
The seniors are sitting around catching our breath and trying to remember what it is we wanted to say.
Scratching their butts. Oh!
Hey now.
It itches.
Here's a way to tell if you're old. Hey, Pete, did you carry that DX100 in there by yourself?
Well, actually, yeah, I did, because I didn't have any help.
Yeah, how far did you have to walk?
Well, first I had to lift it out of my car, and my car is low to the ground, so that was probably the hardest part. And then I carried it into the garage, and I put it on the workbench, sat down and caught my breath. And then I picked it up off the workbench and carried it into the kitchen and set it on the kitchen table carefully so as not to mar the kitchen table because the wife would notice. Then I had to go open the basement door, take a couple of good deep breaths, pick the damn thing up again, make it down the basement steps without going through the wall at the bottom or falling and breaking my neck. Then I got down to the bottom and I put it on a table that was down there, catch my breath again, pick it up again, and then come around into the back where the radio room is, and then I set it down.
All right, you're in the club.
Wow, that was painful to listen to. I can't imagine what it was like to actually do.
Well, I assumed you wanted a full and detailed description of how it got here. Now, in the reverse sequence, getting it up the stairs, yeah, I don't know.
You gotta move a Collins 32B and get back to me.
How about one of them Gates broadcast transmitters or something like that?
Well, last time I moved one, Billy had passed out and almost died, and he was in his rental van sleeping, and I loaded that sucker into the back of the van with myself and another guy who was paralyzed on one side.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Billy's a young guy. What the hell's he doing passed out while the old guys are doing all the muscle work?
You gotta ask him that.
Something seems wrong here.
Well, we all know how boat anchors got their name because they certainly would anchor your boat.
Oh yeah. No qualms about that.
I think that transmitter was 1,100 pounds, but we took out all the iron, so it was probably half that, but not evenly distributed.
Yeah, sometimes that uneven distributed weight is worse than just plain weight. When it's awkward, it's harder.
Yeah, well, try having a guy who's paralyzed on one side for help.
Oh, there's so many openings for comments, but they're all going to get me in trouble with that.
That wouldn't have been my first choice.
You know what? Back in 1991, I moved an RCA transmitter that weighed the same as that with the iron still in it, and I loaded it myself. So I can tell you that I'm not what I used to be.
Well, I got that 250TH amplifier down here, and I had it on an appliance hand truck, and I thought, I don't need to take nothing out of it. I'll just, wheel it down step by step. Well, that was great until I hit the first step, and the whole shebang weighed more than me and just dragged me down the steps. All I was able to do was slow things down a little bit, and then I went through the drywall wall at the bottom of the steps.
Did you go completely through or just a little bit?
Well, I couldn't go completely through because there's cinder block on the other side. So, it's, finished wall basement. So there's what are they, 1x1s or something? The studs put in whatever to bring the drywall out from the cinder block. But as far as the drywall goes, yeah, I went through that. But then the reason I didn't continue to go is because there was cinder block behind it.
Things.
Say again, 507.
I said that explains a few things.
Yeah.
And then I had to make repairs to the drywall before the wife noticed. Well, I was unfortunate in that she noticed anyway.
Yeah, well, of course. You know, it's yeah. You got to spackle it and everything. Ooh, that's never. Here we go. That's more better. This clarifier's got an intermittent in it. Yeah, look at that. Terrible.
Well, I'm glad that's you and not something wrong over here, but that's what gave me away. Why is there fresh paint at the bottom of the steps? Because she knows that I'll just paint just to paint. There was a reason for it, and she had to know what that reason was.
Well, the fact that you fixed it should probably get you off the hook. She doesn't have to worry about, you know, the damage has been repaired.
Well, I was able to escape, being in trouble, but I was unable to escape being ridiculed over it.
You know what it is. You gotta clean up after yourself. Get rid of all the evidence.
It's when the it's when the other stuff happens.
There's what evidence to get rid of? How do you make fresh paint look not fresh there, Jim?
Throw some dirt on it. Be creative.
The fresh paint gave me away. She knows I didn't paint the bottom of the steps, the wall, just because it felt good.
You should have. Now, see, this is what you should have done. You should have. I took a picture of her and hung it on the wall over top of the paint, just to hide it.
If I was going to do that, I wouldn't have had to make any repairs at all. Just a life-size photo and tack it to the wall. Cover the whole mess.
Yeah.
No wonder you get caught.
When I sold that thing, the guys I sold it to, I told them, I was like, you got to get it out of here. I will not be involved. And it's heavy.
Some stuff like that makes you appreciate the DIY.
Yeah, all 9 pounds of it.
Yeah. It's old guy compatible.
Yeah, I get along with that.
Yeah, it's not going to cause me a trip to the hospital by picking that up and moving it around.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Heathkit's got about 15 pounds on the B&W.
Like I said, get yourself a Collins 32V and get back to me.
Texas hole.
You see that? I had a couple of 2x4s that were nailed together in my hands, and they slipped out, and I dropped it, and it went right through, man. And my wife she wasn't like, that's really cool. She was like, this needs to be fixed immediately because we're having people over this weekend.
Yeah, they never seem to be amused by our antics.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, honey, how you feeling? Did you hurt yourself? Do you need anything? Put your feet up. Can I get you something? No, none of that.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that either. Like, did you hurt yourself? Are you okay? What the hell happened down here, and why is there fresh paint?
I said that to a friend of mine down in Texas. He got a real kick out of it.
Kind of looks like Texas.
That was the bathroom remodel project there. Man, I had to take so much stuff out. I had to rip out the walls, rip out the floor. It was all wicking water up. There was, the beginnings of mold everywhere. I must have taken like 50 5-gallon buckets of crap out of there before I was done peeling it off. And then it reinforced everything. It and we put in a big whirlpool tub. And you know what? I would do it all again, because the woman that bought the house, she's like, I went into the bathroom and I saw that, and that was it. I had to have this house.
Well, I was fortunate enough to have spare drywall sheets on hand down here in the basement, and I had the original wall paint and, some spackle and everything I needed to get the job done. But the fresh paint is what gave me away.
So you could probably smell it.
Oh yeah, that nose of hers, she smells things that I swear aren't even there, and she still smells them. Oh yeah, she's got a nose.
Oh, that's because she hangs around with dogs so much. She's kind of picking up their traits.
Yeah, most dogs don't talk though. They won't rat you out.
Yeah, my dogs won't rat me out. They may notice, but they're not going to rat me out over it.
They could if they could figure out a way.
Well, they would if there was a treat involved. If there's no treat, they're not saying nothing.
Oh yeah. They're motivated by yeah.
You give them food and they'll tell you everything.
Or what? Good grief.
Oh, man.
See measurement. Hang on. Oh, won't count. You bad thing, you. Well, somebody could tell me if I'm too far off.
You don't sound too far off yet.
Yet, that's the operative word. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of too far off, that I zero beated one time on you guys tonight with the DX100 and never had to touch the VFO again.
I was going to mention that you were dead on. I measured you a couple of times, and you were, within 5 cycles. So yes, that's great. But of course, when you get up here, it'll be, 22 times, or not that much, maybe 12 or 13 times the amount of drift. Which is why you should be on the air with that right now up here.
Yeah, I could do it, but that would mean turning like 5 different knobs to get here.
It sounds like a challenge to me.
5 knobs?
5 knobs.
Yeah, you got too much going on. You're doing the gate, man. You get a free ride for that. If it weren't for that, I think I'd harass you about it. Only because I can't help myself. This is me. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, I actually thought about putting it on here tonight, but I thought, well, I want it tuned up. I want to use it on 160, and then the transition to the roundup. Well, then I'd have to retune and maybe next Wednesday I'll use the DIY and tune the Heath kit up for here ahead of time.
There you go.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, maybe I'll use it next week. That does sound like a plan.
Although I may not be here next week. Because that's when I'm going. I think we're leaving Wednesday next week to go up to the Memorial Day weekend. So I may be out next week.
Wow, you're leaving early. Memorial Day's not for a while after that.
It's the following weekend, isn't it?
So you're talking about the 21st. That's next Wednesday.
Right. We're going to go up Wednesday and come back on Monday.
All right. Well, I leave that Saturday, and I won't be back until 11th of June.
Wow.
We're going to have to put a tracker on you.
I keep having these silly thoughts of putting my tube pill on the bike.
you need is a bigger battery, and you need to watch your voltage. You could do it.
I've already done it. I already had a 2-pill on the bike before.
Yeah, you're liable to burn out your alternator again.
This alternator puts out 20 more amps than that one.
Ooh. Oh, you're ready for an 8-pill.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that.
No, the fry his brain being so close to the antenna.
When I had that 2-pill in the bike, I was shooting, skipping all kinds of stuff, and people couldn't believe I was motorcycle mobile. I remember chatting with truckers on the highway as I'm going wherever, and they're like, "You're not on a motorcycle." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Like, how can you have such a signal? Well, maybe because I'm riding right next to you. I don't know.
Two-wheel mobile, two-wheel.
2 wheels, 2 pills, mobile. Yeah, when I smoked the alternator, then I went to the 1 pill, and that worked out better on that bike. But I could probably get away to a 2 pill on this bike.
That was the old bike you did that. I was thinking it was still this one.
No, I never did it on this one. That was the old one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the old one's the one I had the 706 on. And I had the 40-meter stick and the 10-meter stick.
You'll be going down the highway going 9999999.
40-meter motorcycle mobile was actually quite fun. Because most people didn't believe that's what I was doing. I'm like, well, why would I lie to you?
Because it's so unbelievable that, you can't be telling the truth.
It worked. It worked. It took some effort to get a good match, make the antenna play, but once that all happened, it worked.
So I take it you're going to be doing 40 meters?
No, because you sold my radio.
How can I sell your radio and my radio? It just didn't work out for you. I sold it out I asked you, but you didn't want it. So I thought you were you were borrowing another one off of somebody else there.
I didn't realize it was like that, like right now. I thought I had time.
Oh, man. There was plenty of time. I just sold it, a couple months ago. 3 months ago, I guess, but it don't matter none. Hey, the old saying is, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, that's all right. I don't really need to be doing that on this trip anyway. It's just a distraction.
Oh, I thought you were having a pretty good hootenanny up there.
And I wouldn't be doing it mobile. It's more fun doing it set up at camp.
In this area, but going all the way west, you'll be out of the loop for 40.
40 meters, as far as Michigan, beyond Michigan, yeah, I could get to you probably from Michigan because I talk to Michigan all the time on 40. So that's probably doable. But beyond that, I don't hear much west of that.
No, not with NFIS. You're 1,000 miles or less usually.
40 meters would probably be more reliable. Or not 40, 20.
Yeah.
Problem with 20 is it's a zoo.
Yeah, we all
20 meters.
We all hate 20 meters.
Too many good buddies looking for DX checks and stuff.
Yeah, it's like that's for all the people who just want to run QRP or just work DX because they don't know what else to do and they have crappy antennas on all the other bands. It's where all the end feds are and all that junk.
Oh, man.
Parks on the air.
Are you trying to say that NFEDs suck?
Oh, I think they suck because I tried one once and I thought it sucked.
Oh, the antenna you're talking on now is an NFED.
Yeah, but I'm also not trying to do high frequency radio, a real high frequency radio with a end-fed wire and no counterpoise. This thing's got a counterpoise.
What is that? An IMAX?
The one I'm on now, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's really an NFED.
Oh, it is. There's no counterpoise on it unless you add wire.
Well, yeah, but it's not a true NFED that way in the NFED wires are, because it's a 5/8 wave. Those NFEDs, they're half waves.
5/8 wave's easier to match because the impedance starts to come back down again.
Yeah, but the big rage, for whatever reason, is all these crappy NFED half waves. So, this thing's a little bit different, I guess.
More than a little bit different, it's usable. Where those things, you got a bunch of people that are trying to sell balance and stuff. You go online and you have all these active posters telling you that this is what you should do. Here's the solution. For anybody who's got a problem, use an NFED.
I don't see how a half-wave NFED is ever going to outperform a half-wave dipole. I just don't see it.
Well, the idiots that push them will tell you it's a half-wave dipole, because the new definition of dipole doesn't mean center fed. It used to, and it used to mean two poles because it was dipole. But that's over with now, and we have 472 genders also now.
You're never going to convince me that an NFED half-wave antenna is a dipole. I mean, it's literally the Latin breakdown is dipole, two poles. NFED half-wave, where's the second pole?
You go and look up the IEEE definition of a dipole now versus 30 years ago, and you get back to me.
Well, I'm not going to argue with it, because when you bring those kind of points up and stand by them, you've already answered. I never asked a question that I don't have the answer to, and I know you don't operate that way. You don't pose the question that you don't already know the answer to. So, well, I'm going to take your word for it. But yeah, you're never going to convince me that an NFED half wave is a dipole. I'm never going to be convinced of it. I want to argue with you, but you're not going to convince me otherwise either.
It's a half-wave monopole.
Yeah, half-wave monopole. I'll buy that.
Dipole means two poles. Quarter wave one way, quarter wave the other.
Yes, and you get that when you end feed a half-wave antenna. Now, this is the argument that they use. I'm just telling you, this is their argument. You get two poles because the current reverses. It doesn't matter where you feed it, it's still a dipole. That's their argument. I'm done.
Yeah, I think somebody's smoking crack.
So what the heck would they call our open wire fed doublets?
They online anyway on hobby radio sites say that if your open wire fed doublet works at all, you just happen to be lucky.
I don't think there was any luck involved. It was a little bit of math and understanding, but I don't think there was a whole lot of luck.
I could point you toward a guy who's a professor, and he will tell anybody that over and over again. He's a professor. That the only reason your antenna works is you got lucky, and it doesn't work as well as you think it does.
Well, there's a whole lot of us out there getting lucky.
That's what she said.
Well, she didn't say that, but I wish she did. So I guess I got lucky twice, because I got basically two different doublets here. One's fed with crappy brown stuff. The other is open wire feeder, but they're both balanced antennas and basically fed the same way with just different impedance.
All right, I'm gonna open up another can of worms. What is the difference between a doublet and a dipole?
One's coax fed, the other one's open wire fed, or balanced line fed, I should say.
So that makes it a doublet when you have it when you're doing an open wire feeder.
Am I wrong, 507? Balanced line fed dipole is a doublet. A coax fed dipole is a dipole.
let's go back to when men were men. Let's go back to 1946, right after the war, okay? Because coax just came out. So a doublet is a symmetrical antenna, and it could be fed with coax, or it could be fed with open wire line. A dipole is usually considered to be resonant on the frequency of interest. So it's cut, 468 over F. Whereas a doublet is just a symmetrical chunk of stuff. And you put it up because of the convenience of the length of wires, or you're trying to have a double extended ZEP, or you're trying to have a couple of half waves in phase. So that the length of it is not specifically resonant. Whereas a dipole back then was considered to be resonant.
Oh, that makes more sense to me now that you said it that way. So a doublet is basically two symmetrical pieces of wire, as much as you can put up or as little as you can put up, where a dipole falls into a frequency resonance.
So a doublet is a non-resonant dipole.
Well, when you say non-resonant dipole, now you're describing a doublet or an antenna that you couldn't figure out how to resonate.
Of course, no matter what length wire you do, it's going to be resonant somewhere.
Yeah, and the beauty of that is it might not be 50 ohms. What do you do then? No!
That's when the open wire feed line comes in.
And that's where balance line tuners come in.
Well, no. Now, if you're going to feed it with a chunk of coax, and it's not 50 ohm resonant, then you can use a stub or something. Take like the quarter wave. Remember the Radio Shack? You would remember this, Bagger. The Radio Shack quarter wave ground plane, It was 90-degree radials. They didn't droop down, so it wasn't resonant. So they used a beta match.
Yep. I remember that very, very clearly. A little wire beta match, so they didn't have to droop the radials. So it would have been easier just to droop the radials at 45 degrees. That would have brought the feed point to 50 ohms.
Yeah. That was my first antenna, 1295 in 1975.
So let's revisit this doublet thing a little bit. Is there any advantage to say if I doubled the length of my doublet with my open wire feeders?
Well, you know what happens when you start going over the resonant length. You start bringing in the pattern. You start, for a while anyway, you start concentrating more energy broadside, and you take it away from the axis, from the end fire.
Yeah, it starts to become multi-lobed.
So it just changes its pattern is the thing. So you gain in certain directions and lose gain in other directions, which is the way gain really is. You're squishing the balloon this way or that way instead of a nice big fat round balloon.
That's it. That's exactly right. Unless you're on 160 and your antenna's up 50 feet. You can screw around with lengths all you want. You're never going to get any pattern. It's going to go straight up, and it's going to be like a ball. But yes, and that's where, like on this band, for people who are learning antennas, you cannot create or destroy energy. So if you put your big beam up with all this, that, and the other, it's got to take power away from somewhere to focus it somewhere else.
Yeah, beams are easily described by looking at an incandescent bulb screwed into the ceiling with nothing around it. That's your quarter wave. Now you take a headlight beam bulb with the reflector behind it. Now you got a Yagi.
Yeah, you take the same bulb in your car that's not plugged into the parabolic reflector. It's not very bright, but you put it into the fixture, and all of a sudden it's all concentrated, and that's where your power comes from. You haven't created any power, though.
Oh, wow, there's an airplane flying overhead.
Power can't be created or destroyed, only transformed.
I was watching 507 signal go from a 5 to an 8 to a 5 to an 8. Must have been an airplane up there.
Oh, I have that issue, and I don't know what's going on. Antenna, airplanes, feed line, something.
But your FM station.
You guys doubled.
Oh, man.
I heard you, but I could tell he was there too.
Yeah. You can't cover me up, Pete.
That's because you're squishing all your energy towards Bagger.
Man, all I need is like 10 kilowatts. I can keep up with you.
Your 10 kilowatts, you probably put me in the back of the bus.
All I have to do is turn my beam around.
Yeah, when you were aimed down here, I think you heard me instead of Pete. I would think. Not that I really care.
Well, you're a lot closer. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but you could probably find a knoll to put me in if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's like when we were playing all that trickery back in the day with our Chester County friends, and I first started playing around with those co-phased IMAXs, and then I started playing around with shorted and open stubs in the line. I was able to take him from like a 10 to 20 over and smush him right down into an S1.
It's phasing wonderful.
Ah, it was fantastic.
All right, now what about a quad antenna? What's the difference in a quad and a Yagi?
And there's the train, right on time.
Hello, train. A quad's driven element is two dipoles fed in phase.
All right, Pete. Hello there, Dave. Hello, Pete. Hello there, Dave. And hello around the band. Train, I've been sitting here, but I didn't want to bust the conversation because it was interesting. 10-4.
We're learning something.
We do that every once in a while. Good evening, night train.
Evening, train. You don't just break in with anything. I like that. That's good.
Hello, night train, old fast Johnny waving.
Hey, Fast Johnny, how you doing, man? Yeah, you're absolutely correct, Dave. If a conversation is interesting, and I break the channel just to see how I sound, that sounds stupid to me, 10-4.
That's great. Yeah, good to hear you. Anyway, let me shut up here.
Hey, I was exercising your transmitter tonight.
Hello there, Fast Johnny.
What's going on there, night train? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. Just hanging in there, I guess you could say, waiting for change to come.
10-4. Yeah, man. I ain't had the base station on in a while. I was scanning the band, and there you were, my friend.
I was sitting there for quite a little bit, just listening to the guys on Classic Radio Roundup dissect antennas. Man, I could see the wave patterns the way those guys describe it.
10-4. Yeah, I don't know if I qualify for classic radio. If it's like a car, what's a classic? 20 years? 15 years? I don't know.
Well, you got different standards than classic and antique cars.
But, the farther and farther we get away from it, it's just getting to be bigger and bigger, Some of that stuff that I put on the air is from 1960, 63, 65.
I think maybe the amplifier I'm running might qualify for classic. That's about it. My 2980 ain't gonna make the cut, man.
No, it won't. What kind of amp you got?
It's just an old 4-pill, but I know I've had it for 20 years. I know the guy that before me had it for at least 10. It's got the original Toshiba non-red dots in it. It still works pretty good.
All right, so So, well, you do have something classic there. Well, tonight I'm classic, man. But anyhow, I didn't come to tie it up, Johnny. I heard you in there. I just figured I'd say hello. And I'm going to step wide to the side. It is the train base station running this classic radio, and I'm quiet.
I was exercising your oldest transmitter tonight, circa 1955-56.
Which one is that, Pete?
Now, come on now. You know the answer to that.
Buddy, out there, I don't know who can hear me and who can't, but
I say it's got to be the multi-LMAC.
down here in Delaware County.
We hear you there, Fast Johnny, in Delaware County. I think most of us can hear you. Spitfire 441 here. No, Night Train, your transmitter that I happen to have over here that you have not had there yet, but it's your transmitter, circa 55-56. How's out exercising it tonight?
You're not by any chance on it now, are you?
No. But try to be around next week because it will.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. What you on right now?
Pearce, Simpson, Super Lynx.
What about you, Bagger?
Oh, man.
Jim Bagger. He stepped away for a moment. What about you, Dave? What you running tonight?
19 and 57 EF Johnson 500, heavily modified.
Tell you, man, you sound good. Tonight I'm on the Browning Mark IV A. Now that A makes a difference.
You using a banana mic?
No, I'm using the Turner 775. You know, the last Brownings did not have the banana mic. They came in with that microphone that was made by Turner. Apparently, the EV lost that contract, and Turner took it over. So this is one of the Turners. In fact, they ended and died using Turners.
You know about Turner microphone history, right?
I think I might have read it once, but you can elaborate a little. That's good classic radio type of material.
Yeah, history.
Ooh, there's a signal. Back during the Depression, they had PA systems, portable PA systems for the people that had bucks. And you could do events and stuff, and they got to where you'd have larger funerals. And the Turner people were like funeral director family or something like that. They were tired of spending lots of money for PA power amplifier and microphones during the Depression, so they started designing their own microphones. That's where Turner microphones came from the funeral business.
Oh, we were just dying to get that mic.
That's very interesting. So what was the reason that they got tired?
Money. They had to rent their stuff. If you had a large funeral, you know, say something like the governor or something like that, you had to have a PA system so you could address the people that were assembled, especially outdoors. So you'd have to rent an amplifier, and they used to have these little amplifiers with 6L6s in them, and before that, even older stuff. And the microphone, and you'd get charged for everything. So they decided, we're not spending any more money on this. We're going to develop our own. And that's where Turner started making microphoniums.
Wow, that's all right. So let me ask you, why did you question whether I was on the banana or vice versa?
Because the sound of it, it's got the Browning sound, which is, you know, the frequency response is very crisp. And you can tell that they clipped the waveform, so it's a very kind of in-your-face sound, and it has that sound, because I'm familiar with that sound with the banana mic. It sounds exactly like one of the older Brownings.
So they wanted to remain. They wanted to, yeah, because they're definitely always a little bit brighter than the trams. I'll be honest with you, once I modified one of them Mark IVs and lowered the frequency response. I went in on the board and changed out coupling capacitors in the audio section, and I got a smooth kind of sound. Somebody said, "That's not the way a Browning's supposed to sound."
That's exactly right. Browning has a very signature sound to it.
Which that has, yeah. And the thing is, the Browning modulation transformer has got a specific ratio. It's probably like 4 to 1. So when you smooth it out, it becomes kind of ineffective. It's maximized for that clipping sound you got there. So they clip it, and then they run it through a little choke, which is a low-pass filter, so it gets rid of all the harmonic junk, so you don't splatter all over the place. If you look at the schematic of the audio amp, there's usually a choke in there. Same stuff they did with 1950s ham rigs. It works very well, but when you try to change it over to make it hi-fi, it's not easy to do. Whereas a D201, man, you could make that sound like an AM radio station if you know what you're doing.
That's right.
I would like my D201 to sound like an AM radio station.
Ain't that hard to do.
All you got to do is go on the internet and argue with people.
Wait till he gets a load of this Heath kit.
Or you might not learn anything either.
Wait till he gets a load of this Heath kit.
Well, you know, there ain't a single plate modulator or collector modulated CV radio that you can't make sound, if you really want to, really, really good. But you always want to fix it so that you can switch back to factory when somebody says, "Oh, it's not the way that's supposed to sound." So, and there's ways to do that.
Yeah, I can do that with my EQ.
Yeah, my thing, Dave, is just jam an external power audio amp on the whole thing, and you fix it up so you can switch right back to the factory modulator. That takes care of everybody.
Yeah, I know a lot of people do that. They externally modulate, and to me, that's because they're too lazy to get in there and do it the right way. But I did that to my President Washington. I don't care that it's not stock. That's high fidelity, all internal mods.
Yeah, you and I are different that way. You know, I know you like to leave stuff factory and all that, and I respect that. Me, I hack everything I own. That's what you're listening to. It's hacked, man. Collectors look at this, and they grab their chest. They're like, "Ugh."
Well, yes and no. When it comes to classic vintage radios, I like to try to keep them as close to stock as possible. But when it comes to other radios, well, then the gloves come off.
Yeah, to each his own. You know, you're having fun. You know what you're doing. You know what you want. So that's the way it works, man. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I'm sure you noticed, but I went outside and turned the antenna.
I thought you got like a 4CX 5000 going there now. Now you're right up there with Pete. You got to get Pete to transmit. See if you can't stomp him.
9999.
I don't think so.
We're getting ready to have ourselves a key down on Classic Radio Roundup.
I put my iPhone out. This is going to be good.
Billy's going to be sorry he went to bed. I think Billy's going to be sorry he went to bed. 999.
Billy went to bed?
Yeah, he's working now. I don't know how these young guys need to go to bed so early when they're working. Like, I'm still working, and I don't go to bed that early. So I don't know. But I'm just kind of poking fun at him. Hopefully he checks out the video gate.
I figured, I know Joker is,
999.
he's down in Tennessee or something. And I didn't hear from Bite Buster tonight, so I figured, well, the northern guys aren't in there, I'll turn the beam around the other way.
Well, the only modification that I've done to this one is I put a ping in there, man. Because it didn't have a ping. And I'm like, man, what's a Browning without a ping? But other than that,
you've got is very, very short. I don't hardly hear it.
Yeah, it's just a little short ring. It's kind of nice. You know what it is, and it's not obnoxious.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be long. I really didn't, but I still didn't want it to be non-existent. It can get a little bit better if I lower the squelch all the way down and, but even then, I made sure it wasn't one of them big long
Sounds good in my hood.
Well, here's some fun for your future there, Night Train. When you got the Heath kit and that Hallicrafters, I'll show you where to put a capacitor in different values, and you could sound just like a Browning on that Heath kit.
But you wouldn't want to do that on a ham band. I think Glenn Browning actually made a fool out of his CBers. He said, leave it like it is. They like it.
Well, no, I wouldn't do that on the ham bands, but I've taken similar equipment and used it right here and had the, is it a Browning or is it not a Browning? And you've heard it.
Roger that, yeah, I have. Is there a break for Night Train?
999.
Yeah, I thought I heard a breaker.
Would, Pete?
What's that, 507?
I said, forward that video over to Dave. He went outside, got his hands dirty doing the Armstrong thing, man. Wow.
He's not Armstrong in it. It's just his rotor control box is out in his garage. But that explains his absence for the 5 minutes.
Well, it was well worth it, man. I can't believe that's a good working antenna.
Yes, it does. It does its thing. Break. Joker's in town.
Oh, jeez, I thought you were still away.
No, mentally, but not physically.
Oh, darn. Then I turned it, well, you can still hear me.
Hello there, Joker. Train waiting at you.
Good evening, Train. And Pete. And whoever else is in there.
Good evening, Joker. 507.
Hello, Jugger.
Roger that, 507. Was that a Rooster?
He's in Jersey.
10-4. Well, nice to hear you guys tonight.
In Jersey.
Oops, nice to hear you guys tonight.
507's almost in Delaware.
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah, I'm good in this state. Like, I'm really very happy in this state compared to the other states that I could be in that I'm almost in. Yes.
Joker, he's closer to Delaware than you are to New Jersey, as long as you're not asking Rooster.
As long as you don't want to look at a map, yes.
Do you guys hear that boo, 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 boo?
I don't hear a boo boo.
Change it.
Is your phone nearby, Dave?
Yeah, it's right over here. Actually, it's laying on a piece of. Let me give you the scenario here. I've got some painter's tape. It's green, 2-inch thick, and it's on top of a Hewlett Packard DC power supply on my bench. Yeah.
Yeah. I really need to separate the two Daves out. That was directed at Sandbagger, not the 507.
Sorry.
Dave, start here.
We have when we have more than one type name out here, we need to differentiate.
Yeah, Bagger's got seniority, man. I don't like that. But what can I do?
Well, you could be born before him if you can make that happen.
Nah, he's older than me too. I got nothing.
Oh. No, but you're senior to him on medium wave because he can't get there.
But we're not on medium wave.
No.
No, but we could keep talking about them on medium wave, and maybe someday you'll get an antenna for it.
I think eventually we're going to have to find a remote site, seriously, and get something set up.
Oh, you know what, there, Bagger? It's a shame I don't have that. I need to find another 480HX, hook it up to the computer, and give you the other antenna.
Oh yeah, I could be like Dr. Hammer or what's his name there?
Hightower. You know, that's really not a bad idea. Let's keep our eyes open for a 480HX. Set it up here with a computer, and I'll just give you the crappy brown lead doublet.
Yeah, give me the crap. That's right. Give me the crap. Setting up. There we go. Yeah, I decided to try the high fidelity out for a little while.
So you just have to remote in. That there's a solution for you right there. You can't put antennas up at your house. You can put them up over here.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a bad idea, Bagger.
Yeah. Well, the old saying, where there's a will, there's a way.
Then you'll be doing all sorts of outboard audio processing on your laptop.
Oh no.
You can take it one step further and do like Doc Hammer. Put a CB receiver on your laptop and use another CB to transmit into it. You get classic radio roundup on medium wave.
I can use this Washington radio and get high fidelity on medium wave. Oh, but I'd be constrained by the bandwidth limitations of the Kenwood.
Yeah, now I need this. That thing, that thing sounded good coming out of the computer. So it had better audio on that data input than it did on the microphone input. But that, I'm gonna have to make that happen for you. I gotta keep my eyes open for one of them. That was way easy to set up remote.
Yeah. And that's a good point too, because if you're going into the data port, that usually bypasses all the low pass filtering and all that in the audio stage. It keeps you in that 300 to 3500 hertz communications quality bandwidth.
Yeah, it always sounded better coming out of the into the data port recordings and everything else than I could ever get out of the microphone. Like even Hightower and Doc Hammer always sounded better on that radio than I did on the microphone on that radio. But that thing puts out 50 watts of AM carrier.
Ooh. Running the multi-LMAC plus a little.
Yeah, and under most circumstances, that's enough power.
I'm trying to get Pete to hook up a external audio amplifier. It was multi-LMAC or even his other his B&W transmitter. Trying to corrupt him, it's not easy. I'm going very slowly. I think I'm making headroom though.
Well, it's a shame the B&W doesn't do 160 because that's set up to do exactly that. There's little jumpers in the back.
Well, the LMAC has that also. It's like everything is available on the rear panel. Both of the rigs are like that.
Yeah, the multi-LMAC can be done too. It's a little bit harder because of the Jones plug. But the B&W, it's on a freaking screw terminal switch.
Me and Mrs. Jones plug. We got a thing going on.
Hey, 507. My wife and I, we just came back from Niagara Falls, New York, and we toured a battleship. Well, we toured 2 battleships and 1 submarine. Man, you should see the equipment. You should see the equipment that's on those things, man. Talking about transmitters, receivers.
Oh yeah, any Milcom stuff. Very impressive. There's some WW2 and slightly later, they have like a duct. It looks like a giant air conditioning duct with a center conductor in the middle of it that goes from the Sparky, the radio room out to the antennas. They didn't care what impedance it was. It was just like this goofy coaxial jam a bazillion watts into a thing. Kind of hilarious.
I guess they weren't worried too much about impedance mismatches.
Well, you got the conjugate match. Any impedance mismatch can be conjugated with the equal and opposite reactance.
Oh, all right, yeah. So what they do, tune it? They tune it? What they add?
They probably had enough tank circuit in their transmitters, because they're tube transmitters, to allow for any possible load, and you just dip the final. That's it. You don't worry about the watt meter or SWR. Who cares? You just dip the plate current, and you're done.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, when you got shells coming in, you don't want to be measuring your SWR. You got the North Koreans backed up by the Chinese trying to drive you all the way back. Man, you ain't going to be getting your SWR meter out.
I'll tell you what, though. All jokes aside, I never want to be down in that sub when that rascal's underneath for the water. That thing did not look... Well, apparently it survived. Otherwise it wouldn't have been on display, but man, that's got to be a miserable existence, man. I don't know how many feet those guys dwell underneath there, and I don't know what kind of rocks they had to worry about hitting. But I don't think there was nothing easy.
A lot of people sacrificed to get us to where we could be living the life we're living right now. No question about it.
I mean, like having Browning Mark 4As, new in box.
Yeah, you should spray that thing olive drab green, and salute it.
You know, this one was new in the box, Dave. It was actually new in box. I was the first person to open it.
New navy blue.
Never mind that. Battleship gray. That's great, man. I don't know where you found that. That's really amazing.
I got it from the guy who owned Palomar East. He was about 91 years old. Palomar East. His wife told him, you need to get rid of some of this stuff. Close the warehouse down or whatever it was. The thing's been sitting in a warehouse in the box for years. CB went out. He had leftover stock. He had a golden eagle he wanted to sell me, but the price was too high. I should have bought all of it.
It's amazing that this day and age, that stuff like that could still be found new in the box.
Wait a minute. A wife? The wife told him he needed to get rid of some stuff. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, that's got to be a lie.
Sorry, I didn't hear anybody. That was a triple.
It's got to be a lie.
No, it was a new wife. She was young. That's the difference. That's different. She probably wanted to cash in on wealth.
No comment.
Wives never tell you to get rid of your junk. No, you got too much of that. Get rid of it. They'd never say that.
No, never.
You guys are being carsastic.
No, we're being sarcastically realistic, and I don't mean Radio Shack.
Yeah, it says realistic on the front. If you're being realistic, you get rid of it.
You know, when I was younger, I used to think that realistic was more like equivalent to aftermarket. I did. I felt like when you had a realistic, it was like you couldn't afford a Cobra or a Pace or, Browning or Tram or, one of the beautiful radios like the Johnsons. And I just felt like realistic and Lafayette were like second to those people. Come to find out that they're just as good as the big boys.
Well, yeah. I mean, you had top of the line radios like the D201 and the Browning Eagle. They were at the top of the pile. And then you had your high gain Utopia. That was probably the next one down. And after that, it's you had some you had your Pearce Simpson Simba, you had your Cobra 135, and but then most of those radios were all made by the same Japanese makers that made realistics. Most of the realistics were made by Hitachi, and Hitachi also made Sears radios. They also made JCPenney radios, some of them. And then same with Midland. Midland was they had Cybernet made a lot of their radios. They had a few Unidens and a few others, but once you get down from the top of the line stuff, most of the the other ones are 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. They just have a different nameplate on them, but they're made by the same people.
Yeah, and I didn't learn that until I came back into the hobby. So therefore, I was kind of, I discriminated, in my collecting. I wanted the names that I couldn't get my hands on, But of course, I still have a spot in my heart for them Lafayette stuff. I love that little 444. Hope nothing ever happens to it.
Yeah, those older Lafayette tube radios were nice. Most of those were made by Panasonic, but I honestly think the 444 was either a fancier version of the Panasonic or was made by Toshiba. Because there was much higher quality parts in those.
Yeah, well, I tell you what. One day I got one, which I didn't know what I was doing back then. Because I was swapping, buy, sell, swap, buy, sell, swap, buy, sell, swap, and I had one that was absolute mint condition and 100% original. And all of them little tubes inside of there said Toshiba.
Yeah, so that's probably who made it. This Toshiba is always high end. They made the mobile radios for Browning, and they also made the mobile radios for Tram, and the higher end Cobra radios too. And they were top notch for solid state Japanese radios.
Yeah. So, but I should have never got rid of that one because it was nothing wrong with it. It was original. But in those days, we didn't have quite the knowledge. So, you see one with a pretty face, you figure out which one you're going to get rid of. And, I'd swap it. But now I'm kind of buying for keeps for, like, for instance, this piece, it doesn't go out for no other piece. Same thing with my Tram, DT201A, because that was close to new in box also. But, there's certain ones that'll just be keepers. And there's other ones that could be sold if something beautiful should pop up on the market. Oops.
You're addicted to eBay.
Do you hear that little ping?
Yeah, it started to sound pretty normal there for a bit.
I tell you what, these things put out some heat. Man, do they put out heat. I'm getting warmed up under here.
Uh-oh. Where did Pete go? Did him and 507 sneak off the 160?
I'm still here.
Okay. Then Pete must be refilling his adult beverage or something.
Maybe he's trying to load up the DX 100.
That would be fun. Then Train can get to hear what it sounds like.
I heard it sounds pretty good, but I don't know about on 11 meters.
Sounds the same way on 11 meters as it does on 160, except for maybe a little bit of frequency instability. Other than that, it's the same thing.
Then it might be a little bit less in power. The higher up it goes, it starts to fall off.
Yeah, a couple of percent, that's it.
The thing of it is you can always get your power from somewhere else. I'm more interested in quality than I am power. Because power's everywhere.
They're happy as a pig in you-know-what.
That was a great double. I wish I had the thing rolling. Yeah, well, they've got us, the 10-meter, plate coil and all that. It's got the right form factor. So it's not total crap like it could be.
Which one are we talking about? Since Bagger and I doubled, I kind of lost track.
The Dog X-Ray 100's performance up here.
Oh, we're right. Yeah, 1040.
That's the first old transmitter I ever managed to get working on this band. A friend of mine found one on the side of the road in the 70s. Called me on the phone. He's like, get over here right away. So I rode my bicycle over there, He's like, I found this on the side of the road. And the only thing that was wrong with it was an AM rig. And the other thing was the plate choke to the driver tube, the 5763 was open. And you could see it. It had a little tiny Zorch on it. So we fixed it up, put that sucker on the air, man. Got on there with all of our regular buddies on Chicken Band. It was like, yeah, I'm in charge now.
What kind of radio was that?
DX 100.
On the side of the road?
DX 100 in the guy's trash. You put it out for trash day, and my friend saw it.
Wow.
That's how it was back then.
I never found anything like that in the trash. Oh.
You didn't look hard enough. We're talking like 1975, 76. All those AM, that's why they call them boat anchors. At one point in time, they were worth nothing. You go to Hamfest, it's a muddy Hamfest. You got the DX 100s on the bottom of all the other rigs, halfway in the mud, with a river running through it, holding up the newer stuff for sale.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know. I used to see those at the Hamfest all the time. That people couldn't give them away half the time. But Ranger Rick, one of the guys who checks in here, he has a job where he's involved with trash quite a lot, and he finds all kinds of radios in the trash. Most of them still work really well too, which is amazing. He built up his collection just by trash picking.
It's true. Tell you what, I can't tell you how many cheap transmitters I bought late 70s, early 80s, and flipped them for 5 to 10 times what I paid for them when people were going nuts on eBay. And it was like one of the things in my life where I hit it big.
Yeah, well, eBay, everybody's insane there.
Well, they were. Now they're a different kind of insane.
Kind of prices they're asking. It was fun about 15 years ago. You could get on there and you can get a vintage classic CB radio for a reasonable amount of money. I paid $10 for my Royce 640, and to me that was a reasonable amount of money for a 30-some-year-old, 40-year-old radio. Now they look at all these radios, and even it was expected that the Trams and the Brownings were going to go for ridiculous amounts of money, and they were going for $200, $300, $400, and I thought that was a little high, but well, it was what it was. But now they go completely nuts. Now they're well over $1,000 for them, and even TRC 30As. I see people trying to sell them for $150, and I'm like, you guys are nuts.
Oh, you're right. There were some really good bargains on there. There's still a few, but there used to be lots. You're right.
You know, now everybody thinks, you know, because it's an old CB, it's worth a mint. You know, a few people kind of wrecked it for everybody else. They got the wrong impression.
Well, you know what? People don't know, and they're in the antique business, cleaning out and all that stuff. They have no idea what they're selling, so that's how it goes. They go high.
Yeah, a couple people out there that really would, you know, they had a scam going. You know, they would advertise a really high price, and then they'd get a shill buyer to buy it, which would then establish that, oh, somebody else sold that for that much, then I must, you know, mine must be worth that too, and you know, and that's when the chips started to fall.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Somebody else in there?
Yeah, that was me. I was going to try to key up. I wanted to say that online period has increased the value of things across the board. It's not just eBay. The reason being is because now everybody goes online to find out what the value is. Like, for instance, flea marketers now go online and look up the items that they have on their table, and they're going for bigger money, namely saxophones and things like that. Before you can get lucky, you might be able to buy a Selmer Mark 6 for 50, 75 bucks, $1.25 or whatever, because it was on some table. They found it in the storage. You know, the old man died. They let it go. But now they go online and find out the thing is worth $3,000 minimum. And that automatically raised the prices on everything across the board, because anything that you have now, the first thing you do is go online and see how much it's worth.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right about that. And you know, it's good and it's bad, you know, because the days of getting good deals are just kind of falling apart. You know, you gotta hope you find somebody at a flea market that doesn't know any better. And you know, online has kind of ruined Hamfest. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go into a Hamfest and somebody's got something on the table, and somebody will say, you know, they'll have a price on it, and they'll be like, will you take, you know, and that's what Hamfests are like. Everybody barters, you know. That's the whole point of a Hamfest. You know, a guy has a radio there, he wants $300 for it, and you try to offer him $200 or $250 or something, and the guy just says, if it doesn't sell today, I'm going to sell it on eBay. I want what I want, and you know, I'll get it on eBay. You know, well, you know, then go to hell home. You know, don't come to the Hamfest at all. Then, if you're not going to bargain, then go sell it on eBay and pay the shipping. That's fine.
Well, actually, the buyer pays the shipping, so it's a win-win situation until eBay take their 15%.
Yeah, I should probably have said that. Pay the eBay fees,
Which are much larger than they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing taxes now. Before they didn't used to do taxes, but the government got in behind them because they seen where there was millions and millions of dollars to be made. So they started taxing everything. So if you buy something for $20, you know, you'll get taxed and you'll pay the shipping. But the people got used to it, and they're still moving products.
Well, eBay has definitely evolved. It used to be a nice online auction place for you know, common people to sell their goods. Now it's become a front for pretty much commercial enterprise now. You know, people set up storefronts on eBay, and they're selling you know, like a regular store. It's the mom and pop guys that sell 2 or 3 things. They don't care about them. You know, they're not. You know, they don't get very much support or anything.
I will return momentarily.
Okay.
Yeah, man. eBay was easy back then, but then again, if you got into a war, it was an all-out war, and sometimes you could be at the wrong end of that. But now they got arbitration, insurance to back you up if things go wrong. Like you still get paid, you know. And of course you got your scammers, you know. They got a guy on there now. He's trying to sell a saxophone. I said to the man, I says, you know, send more pictures. We like to be able to evaluate the horn, you know, evaluate it. You got to show, you know, the bell, and you got to show this, and you got to show that. So he sent a bunch of pictures, and two of the pictures was from soprano saxophones. One of them was an alto, another one was a tenor, and he was taking little sections. But he didn't think we knew those horns well enough to know that these is 5 different horns. He sent pictures of 5 different horns. He'll send you the top half of one, the keys on the other side of another one. The one that he have in the case, he have that for his main display. And I said, boy, you got yourself quite a collection there. Hey, oh no, he says, this is the same horn, just different angles. And I wrote, laugh out loud.
I stopped dealing with eBay with selling when they changed that with the tax rules that you were just saying. Now if you sell $600, you have to claim it. It used to be $15,000.
Yeah, man, I understand that too, Joker.
Like I was selling stuff that I used taxed money just to buy when I bought it. It was taxed. So now I'm selling it used, and I have to pay taxes on it again.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Along with the eBay fees.
And that's the other thing about eBay too. There's always these freaking scammers on there. You know, guy will will buy your product, like say a radio, and then he'll say, it wasn't as described. It doesn't work, or it's something, and then eBay will refund his money, and then he'll send it back to you, and what you get back is either going to be like a brick or an identical radio to what you sold him, but a broken one. And you basically you get screwed twice. You don't even get your own part. You don't even get your own product back. You get a broken piece, and your money's gone.
That's why almost every radio on eBay says for parts not working.
Yeah, I mean that way it's like all sales are final.
Yeah, that's the way they protect themselves. Parts not working. Parts not working. That way you can't come back and say, hey, this thing doesn't work. Well, you take a chance. You can almost look and tell whether a thing is good. It depends on where it's coming from. You kind of get a feel for it. Like, for instance, if you find a Tram D201 new with the box or almost new, don't know for sure how long it's been used kind of thing, and the lady's selling doll babies and tricycles and clothing and all kinds of, that's a good radio. She just gets, but if you catch a guy who sells ham radios and he sells CB equipment and everything, and he said, I'm not sure and I have no way to test it, that radio ain't gonna work.
Yeah, no self-respecting radio operator has no way to test it. That's a lie right there. If he's selling a bunch of that stuff, he better have a way to test it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this one works or not. It came from a collection. It was a silent G who kept all of his radios in pristine condition. This will be sold as is, not working. Truth of it is, he tested and found out that it wasn't working. Now he's trying to get his money back.
Yeah, so I mean, it's all kinds of scams out there. That's another reason why I stay away from eBay.
Truth of it is, most everything here came off of eBay, including this Browning from the Palomar man. All came from eBay. Yeah. That Midland didn't come off of eBay. That was Facebook Marketplace.
Train's eyes light up when he sees the abbreviation NIV.
You're absolutely right, Joker. Oh, man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, but you know what? People say something's new in the box, but how do you know for sure?
You don't. But I have a feeling he's going to get a radio over there I've been working on. And it's not new in box. But I suspect he's going to enjoy the heck out of it anyway.
Hey, we thought you went away to get that thing rigged up for 11 meters, and you was going to show off a little bit.
Nah, it's a little too late for that, and I don't want to rush tuning that thing because I'm not quite yet familiar and comfortable with it. I got it working great and all tuned up perfect on medium wave. To put it on these shorter wavelengths, I'm going to take my time and be clear-headed.
Yeah, you're right. Sure, you're right.
I got too much work into that thing to be smoking parts.
Yeah, it'd be like that Midland with that little smoke coming up out of the back of it.
It's not pristine. It's not new in box. It's not eBay. But once you start talking on that thing and people tell you how wonderful you'll sound, you're going to fall in love.
Well, Joker, anything new on your front, man?
No, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same, man. Got a busy summer coming up, but pretty much the same. Full disclosure, I'm not on a classic radio right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, nice.
That's a demerit.
I figured I got in after 9 o'clock, so theoretically.
Oh, you're in the junior hour now.
Yeah, after 9, I thought that was fair game.
No, after 9's usually when you switch radios.
I'm not using a classic radio either. Mine's an antique radio.
Well, that qualified.
Antique, classic, whichever works.
You know, I've been running across other people on eBay that have classic radio night or antique radio night. They have a different name for it, but I've actually ran into buyers who, you know, interested in putting my stuff on because they have, you know, old radio night, you know, Wednesday nights or whatever, Thursday night or old radio Thursdays or whatever, in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're the original.
Not really sure, don't really know, but I also met some good people on eBay, like for instance, S9 Radio's Greg Howell, you know, who is renowned for vintage equipment. In fact, he has one of my pieces now he's working on for me. You know, I've developed relationships with some of these guys out there. Some of them are, you know, good people. And then you got the riffraff, you know, you have to be able to, but I would never have known him if it wasn't for eBay.
Did somebody hook me up with a swing kit for my Halicrafters?
All you need is a resistor and a capacitor across your plate supplied.
I need a DDS VFO for my Halicrafters.
Specifications are subject to change. Terms and conditions may apply.
I need some kind of synthesized crystals.
Not unless they factory like that Regency Imperial. That rascal was built on swing.
I swing kitted my Shakespeare and my my Demco.
First swing radios I ever heard were the Drakes.
Yeah, the RC network is your friend.
So what exactly does a swing kit do in terms of technical terms? What's actually going on there? Anybody know what it is?
Reducing the carrier and keeping the same modulation level.
And you swing forward when you go.
Or you could do it like this. Yeah, boy, you can make that thing swing. Yeah, watch that thing swing.
99.
There's more than one way to make that thing swing.
Yeah. Then it wouldn't be a classic radio.
Put that Class C amplifier right on the knee.
Yeah. They always sound like garbage too, but people don't seem to understand that.
I wasn't sounding too garbagey.
No, you didn't go down on the knee far enough. If you went a little further down, it would have sounded like garbage.
Oh, but there was lots of swing.
Yeah, there was that.
But if you really wanted to really swing, just go on sideband.
The only time I ever heard garbage make a sound was when there was a critter stuck in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, raccoons.
Raccoons are terrible.
Yeah, we have a nightly raccoon visitor. The wife feeds them. Ever since she's been feeding the raccoons, they stay out of the garbage can. The raccoons get all our restaurant leftovers, and then they leave the trash can alone.
Yeah, you can't do that up where I am, up the mountains there. It's not the raccoons you got to worry about, it's the bears.
The bears.
Yeah, the bears. The black bears.
I'd still rather be confronted in the woods with a bear than be down in the Everglades and be confronted with an alligator.
Oh, I don't know. I can outrun an alligator. I don't know if I could outrun a bear.
I don't think anybody can outrun an alligator.
They're not that fast.
They're not that slow.
The solution is bring a friend who can't run as fast as you.
No, the solution is to bring a friend that has at least 7 or 8 rounds.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring your friend that's a 45 ACP. .44 Magnum, 44 ACP, 30-06, any of those.
Yeah, it gets for protection. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if I was in Florida and going fishing, I wouldn't go without a sidearm just because of alligators.
Too damn many critters. And this portion of Classic Radio Roundup is brought to you by the 05, the Institute of Amplifier Repair Technology, where our motto is, if you can buy it, we can fry it. Yeah, that's right. A blank there.
Can't you get Nabisco or somebody good?
No, but we do have Grandma Jemima's stainless steel ganja dipped voodoo doll needles, and they're on sale, 2 for 1. So get your ganja dipped stainless steel voodoo doll needles for your favorite voodoo doll and watch them twitch.
Yeah, at Fred's Discount Voodoo Emporium, where our motto is, if you want someone dead, come and see Fred.
Did I hear my son-in-law out there? I did hear him. I heard you jumping up and down. I did. Top of the evening here, old 64.
Right there, right back. Hold on. Right there, right back. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I hear you, old panty snatcher, jumping up and down, making all kinds of noise in my radio receiver. Hope all's well on your end from your county-wide radio.
Hey, Roger, all county-wide. All right, Pete, I'm at the work 24 on your ear. I gotta go. Bye-bye.
All right. Don't work too hard, but keep the money coming in. 10-4. Catch you later.
Oh, man. Now that the beam's pointed almost south, I don't hear him at all.
Yeah. I don't know if you checked your phone recently or not, but 507 made some little short gates, and you got a bigger signal down there than I do.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I did look at him. Guess the beam's still working. Still got to pull it down, though. I got to do some service.
Yeah, there you go. Your antenna gain is outperforming my amplifier gain.
Yeah, I'm actually a little less than fire chicken power. This is only about 75. Well, it will swing to 100.
Yeah, but what's your antenna gain versus my antenna gain?
Well, I mean, it's a 3-element beam. The CB knuckleheads rated at 9 dBi, which is to me a lie. I'm probably more like 7.5 or something.
Yeah, what's an IMAX? 5 or 4.5?
No, it's like 3.5.
3.5 out of a 5/8 wave antenna?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking over a quarter wave, not over a isotropic. It might be 4, but over a dipole is probably more like 2.7 or something.
There you go. You got me beat. Your antenna gain is outdoing my transmitter gain.
Or maybe I'm just a little closer.
Or you got less obstructions.
No, I got French Creek Hill right in front of me.
Yeah, I got a big old Chester County ridge too to go through.
Yeah, French Creek rises up to like 1,000 feet or something. I can look out my window here and see it.
And that ridge continues down that side of the river for a long ways right in front of my face.
Yeah, it does, but it kind of loses altitude. It's probably the highest right here. Maybe towards Birdsboro. Yeah, but it's a mess.
Yeah, and I'm sitting on the wrong side of a 500-foot hill, and you're not.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's hills everywhere. I go north, and I've got Fancy Hill on my way. The only good directions, I get north or east is good, southeast is good, northwest is good, but west isn't too bad. But the other directions, not so good.
Yeah, well, I live in a volcano crater, so every direction is equally poor.
Yeah, until you put your antenna 100 feet in the air.
It's the only way that I'm able to get out of this place.
Yeah, did you ever try the balloon option? Good night, good evening. This is Skyrider. Sorry for breaking in here.
No, don't be sorry. Hello, Skyrider.
Yeah, hello there.
How are you guys tonight? I just came down from the 20-meter band, so it's okay. Nothing far out, all pretty much U.S. contacts, but was fun tonight. So, yeah, I hear you talking about the French Creek rising up over the next couple of days. I live here on the Manatoni. Thank God I'm up on the hill, not down at in the meadow.
Let me ask you a question. Is your antenna on 20 meters an end-fed half wave?
It is the Mako 5000. I would say, it becomes an end-fed half wave. It has radials, but it still works pretty good on 20 meters. On 40, it becomes a quarter wave, that shows that the takeoff angle is pretty steep, so it's most on 40 meters, good contacts, but all within, I would say, 1,000 miles. The other night I had somebody from Australia, but I think he was out in Ohio at the Hemvention or something and was doing a PODA. So I have to research. I have to send him an email and see where he really was.
Using your CB antenna on 20 meters?
I'm using it even on 40 meters. That's the only antenna I have, and it works.
I tried to load my antenna up on 40 meters and I got squat out of it.
I never tried loading this thing up on 40 meters because I know I got better antennas.
Yeah, Roger, that's the project is ongoing here. I'm still buying some of the stuff I need to put the other antenna up. But I use it on 40 meters, and right now I have trouble with that new tuner. I can't tune the thing on 15 meters, so what bothers me a little bit. I rather would do the 15 meters instead of the 40 meters. But hey, it is what it is, and I have to get through till I have the other antenna up.
Man, I wouldn't even try my 11-meter antenna on 40 meters. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even think about trying it.
Oh, glad Wayne's still with us.
Yeah, I'm still listening.
If you get desperate, you get desperate. One day I just took the VNA up to the cable here, took it off the switch, hooked the VNA up, and start rolling the roll conductor and say, whoops, what's this? There's a dip. And then I adjusted the two capacitors, and voila. And actually I have a match. Where is it? 1 to 1.005.
Well, yeah, you can get good SWR. That's never the problem. It's getting it to radiate efficiently. I used to have a 102-inch fiberglass whip on my rain gutter. Right now there's a 40-meter hamstick in its place, which works pretty well on 40, actually. But before that, I had a CB 102-inch whip on there, and I tried to load that on 40 meters, and I was able to get a good SWR from the tuner. Beautiful SWR, but you know what? It didn't work worth a plug nickel. It wasn't working, and I have a 40 meter in its place now, which works really good on 40, but I try to load that on 160, and it's like a dummy load, no one can hear me on it. So I can receive, but it's not all that good. So, SWR is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't mean squat as far as performance goes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I bet you the efficiency on that Mako 5000 there on 40 meters also not that great. Like I said, it's I'm getting out. Let me see what I have here on distance. And give me a second. I'm gonna scroll quick down on the logbook.
I have a 40-meter antenna that's cut for 40 meters, but it's an inverted V, and the center of it is probably about 40 feet up in a tree, and that works fine for me. But I would, like I said, I wouldn't even try my 11-meter antenna on 40 meters.
Yeah, I understand. But that's the only antenna I have. Yeah, everything is about under 1,000 miles. I have one that's 1,500 miles, and but on 40 meters. So it's all close range. And the efficiency is not there, and also the takeoff angle. If you have a quarter wave, is also pretty steep. So.
Well, yeah. Well, 40 meters. Most of the stuff, well, especially during the day, is you spray most of your signal up in the air, and it comes down like an umbrella in an umbrella pattern, and you cover the eastern seaboard pretty well, and probably as far west as the Mississippi River. And your CB antenna is probably doing exactly that. It's probably pushing all your signal up in the air, which works really well for 40 meters in a regional area, but you're not gonna get any international DX that way.
Yeah, that's true. But on 20 meters, on the weekend, the 11th, what was it, Saturday, I did pretty good. I did. Was all over Europe, Slovenia, Germany. Let me see. I have to.
I wonder, Wayne, if your antenna, your wire antenna, load up on 80 and work at all.
I don't know. I haven't even considered trying that because it was cut for 40 and it works real nice on 40 meters.
Yeah. With all this stretching of antennas, though, doing weird things, I just wonder if you'd be able to stretch that out. Sure, it's not going to work as well as a full-size dipole, but I'm wondering if it would work, in any fashion at all. I guess it would if you could get a match to it.
Yeah, and I probably could do that with my tuner. And like I have 3 other tuners haven't even put in line yet. And probably between you and I, we probably have no problem communicating.
Yeah, well, that's no real challenge.
Yeah, you also could use 2 cans and a string.
I can go out and probably shout. Pete could probably almost hear me.
Yeah, you go outside with a walkie-talkie, I go outside with a walkie-talkie, we'd probably be talking.
And nobody could get between us.
I think JR probably could if he wanted to.
Back in the day.
Yeah, definitely back in the day, without question.
Was JR on tonight, or is he not around?
He was here, quietly slipped away.
Yeah, but he's retired now, so he doesn't have to go to bed.
Oh, you wait. Coming 11 o'clock, he's back. I haven't heard the train. He was on. Yes, was it? Was I? No, I wasn't in yesterday while I was fiddling around here with that new tuner. So. To get checked all the bands out, see what I could get from 40 down, so I'm a little bit disappointed I can't get 15 in. I added coax here, added coax there, but didn't make a difference.
Train was in here earlier.
Yeah, he slipped away too.
It could be that I have here some bleed over, so that's usually JR or the train. So there may be 1 or 2 channels up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's quiet on my end.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where the train is. Even if he turns his power down, he's so close by, Hey, let me step aside for a second. I was doing all this cork stuff. I have to adjust the tuner for this radio here.
Okay. Go for it. I'm just hanging out sandbagging anyway.
Breaker.
Go, Break.
Yeah, Rooster, just checking in here.
Hey, there's Rooster.
Countywide.
Radio.
Hi, Rooster. Renegade waving a hand.
Hello there, Wayne. Yeah, I've been on for like the last 15 minutes.
Aha. And you had to work up the courage to say hello.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah, I was here. Actually, I was last 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, had to let the radio warm up. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the console 2.
That's a good sounding radio.
With, I guess it's the desk mic that came with it.
Oh, it's the SBE desk mic.
Yeah, it has like the little blue SB inside the mic head there.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
This one here works real good.
Sideband engineers.
Yeah. I've got 3 SBE radios.
They really work good on the sideband, I know that.
I have one sideband engineer radio, and it only has AM.
Hello, Rooster. I'm back, guys.
Hi, Skyrider.
Yeah, out of the 3 SBEs I have, only one of them does sideband. The other 2 are strictly AM.
Which 3 do you have?
What are you doing?
I have a Cortez, a Trinidad, and a Console 2.
You got to roll your tongue when you say Cortez.
Yes, Cortez.
Now I have my Cortez in my car with a old Radio Shack antenna.
Yeah, I used to have 2 of them back in the day. That was my first mobile radio. And I ran that in my first car when I was 16. And then I traded it and an amplifier for a Tram XL5 because I wanted sideband in the worst way. And then later on, I picked up another Cortez somewhere. I forget where I got it, but yeah. So that's another reason why I have one now, because it's a nostalgia thing.
My Cortez, I had these that plugged in for like 4 hours until it worked right.
You probably got bad electrolytics.
But now that I left it plugged in for a day, it works okay now.
Well, back in those days, you were instant royalty if you were on sideband, you know? No more handles, none of that stuff. Everybody acted on their best behavior, and you had lots of rules. Plenty of rules, because you had rules. You had to obey all the rules.
Yeah, you had to have a number. If you didn't have a number, they would tell you to go away.
And no 10 codes. You had to use the Q codes. No 10 codes. Q codes only.
Yeah, we exclude anybody who doesn't work to our satisfaction, yes. Projection.
And back then, it was channel 16. And because it was only 16, you had people on upper and lower sideband at the same time. And you could do it.
Yes, you could.
As long as you weren't real close to each other.
Or your rig wasn't aligned right.
Or you were running a Regency Imperial.
Well, yeah, you could do both at the same time.
That came with a little box that plugs into the back. And if you get a channel, 23, 22, and 18, you have to use that box.
like an 8-channel crystal there you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. It has a switch in the back with a wire coming out that plugs into this, it's a 326G, whatever that is.
That's a Glenn VFO.
Yeah, it has a frequency counter on it, and it has like 8 or 10 spots in there with 5 tiny little switches. I guess you program it.
Yep, that's a Glenn digital VFO, but supposedly they don't work really good for sideband. And they don't, they're not phase locked, they're just frequency locked or something. And that's what I remember reading about.
Yeah, 2 black dots on the front, and I guess I should learn how to use it, but I don't know anything about it.
And anyway, looking at the time, it's about time to pull the plug. You know, us seniors and all that. So we'll catch everyone later. It's, Classic Radio Roundup. Like I said, I don't think I'll be around next week, but yeah, we'll see.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah?
Sandbagger.
Yeah.
What channels do you think that box would give you, though?
A whole lot. It's basically a digital VFO.
And what does that do?
Gives you a whole lot of channels.
Well, you get a minute, you can talk on it?
Yeah, you can. You know, you dial in the frequency, and there you are. Provided, of course, it's installed correctly. Although the SBE Console 2 is not exactly known for being a very wide-banded radio, your power will fall off relatively quickly once you get above like channel 40.
Yeah, right. So what that would be, upper channel or lower channel or wherever you want to go, I guess.
Yeah, all of the above, as long as the radio can tune it.
Right. Okay, 10-4, thanks.
All righty, we'll catch everyone later.
Yep. Good night, Dave. I'm right behind you. The end of the video gate for Classic Radio Roundup. Thanks for all who checked in to make Classic Radio Roundup what it is. 7-3 all. Thanks again for the fun. Countywide
Radio.
Get you, Dave. Get you, Pete. Yeah, good night, Dave and Pete. And hang in a little bit, but also not too much longer. So,
I'm right behind you.
5-7. Do it again next time.
I'm with you, Skyrider. I'll be in here listening a little bit, but I don't know how much longer I can hold on without my eyes closing.
yeah, I had a long day today, so yesterday I was sitting here. That's the reason why I wasn't on. Sitting here, falling asleep in the chair and waking up at 1:30 in the morning with a stiff neck. That doesn't happen tonight, so. But I'm listening for a little bit. I'm going to update a couple of charts I made, and then I'm probably going to call the 10-7 too.